Hello friends, this is our second lecture. In the first lecture we see the syllabus of our paper, that is elementary number theory, and also see the which books should be referred. Okay, in this lecture we see the unit 1, that is the theory of divisibility, and the topic to be discussed in this video is the set of natural number, and we see about their properties of the natural numbers. Depending on that, we have the well ordering property, the principle of mathematician that is useful in the various results for proving the results about the divisibility, and then we see proper and improper divisor. So we first go to the set of natural number. Set of natural number is the set consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Observe that here 0 is not belongs to the set of natural number. Okay, so let's see some properties. That is as we see in last video about the set of integer, that is closure under the addition, close under subtraction, close under multiplication. Now whether it is closure under the division also, we have to see these properties like set of integer. Okay, so in the set of natural numbers we have closure under addition, that is sum of two number is again a number, that is natural number. Sum of two natural number is again a natural number. For example, that is we write m comma n belongs to n implies m plus n belongs to n, close under multiplication. If we take any two numbers, that is m and n belongs to the set of natural numbers, then their product, that is m into n, is again a natural number. For example, 4 into 5, they are natural number. Their product 4 into 5 is 20, that is again a natural number. Is it close under subtraction? So we have to see whether it is close under subtraction or not. For example, 2 minus 4, what is it is equals to? It is equals to minus 2. So minus 2 does not belong to the set of natural numbers, so it is not closed under the subtraction. So what should be the required condition that it should be closed? So we require that m is greater than n. If m is greater than n, then in that case m minus n is natural number. Okay, so there is a order preserving relation in the set of natural number. That is, we say that the number is, some number is greater than something, right? So that is there is order relation we define on the set of natural number. 1 is greater than 2, 2 is greater than 3, 3 is greater than 4. So in the same way, depending on this order relation, we have the law of trichotomy of natural number. We state that for any two natural number, we have one and only one condition is true, that is either one is greater than another number, or first one is equals to the second one, or first one is smaller than the second. That is, we say that for any m comma n belongs to n, m is either greater than or m is equals to n, and m is lesser than n. We have the well ordering property on the set of natural number, that is every non-empty subset of n has a least element. If we take any non-empty subset of n which has a least element, that is, for example, s is equals to 2, 4, 6 and so on, it has a smallest element is 2. 2 is smaller than 4, 2 is smaller than 6, that is 2 is smaller than every number in the set of s, and thus we have s has a least element which is 2, and hence this is an example for the that is, s is a subset of n, and which is given that here it is smaller than, it has a least element. So this is true for every non-empty subset of the set of natural number. Then we see about the first principle of mathematical induction. The principle of mathematical induction are useful for proving the results we state that S be a set of positive integer we have given, set of positive integer is given, then if 1 belongs to S, n belongs to S, implies n plus 1 belongs to S, that is 1 is in the set, n is in the set, then n plus 1 is also in the set, then the set contains all positive integer. This is a statement of the first principle of mathematical induction. This principle is also written in the form that if we have the statement which is given in terms of n, that is p of n be a statement about n, and suppose we assume that for the first one p of 1 is true, and also it is true for p of k, and from this p of k we prove that p of k plus 1 is true, then it is true for every n. Okay, the example for this is that you study in the BSc first year about the de Moivre's theorem, which is what is it? De Moivre's theorem, it is cos theta plus sin theta to the power n, right? This is equals to what? This is equals to cos n theta plus sin n theta. So in proving this de Moivre's theorem, we assume the same condition, that is this one is true for n equals to 1, then we assume this is true for n equals to k, and we prove this for n plus 1. Okay, if this is satisfied, then p of n, that is this condition, is satisfied for all n. In some cases this first principle of mathematical induction is not proven, so we use the second principle of mathematical induction, that state that if 1 belongs, S is again a subset of n, that is set of natural number, and 1 belongs to S, we have the step 1, that is first element is for n equals to 1, it belongs to S, and up to 1, 2, 3 and up to k is also in S, then we have to prove, and this implies k plus 1 belongs to S, then S equals to n. So it is, we have to assume this statement 1, 2, 3 up to k. So the example of this, that is where we use the second principle in case when we have to show that the every natural number has a prime factorization. Okay, in proving this result, we assume that if we assume the first principle of mathematical induction, that is for 1 we can factorize, for 2 we can for k we can factorize, then for k we have to prove that k plus 1 can be factorized. Okay, so if k is in a factorization, that is S, and k has a factorization, k plus 1 and k, they are not related to each other, so we cannot go from k to k plus 1 and prove that k plus 1 has a factorization. So we have that k plus 1, so in that case we use the principle of mathematical induction, where we can use the subset, that is 1, 2, 3 up to k, they are factorizable, and so k plus 1 is also factorizable. Okay, after the principle of mathematical induction, we have the divisibility, that in the previous video we said about the integers, the properties, that is closed under addition, multiplication, subtraction. Now what is about the division? It is not closed under division, that is the division of 2, that is division of two numbers. We said that is 5 upon 2, which is equals to 2.5. Okay, so 2.5 does not belong to the set of integers. So we define here the definition of the divisibility. So for if a is not equal to 0 and b be integer, we say that a divides b if there is an integer c such that b equals to ac. That is for non-zero integer a and b be another integer, then a divides b if there exists an integer c and we write the b as a into c. Okay, in that case we write this a divides b as a vertical line b, and the number a which divides b is called as the divisor or factor of b. If in case it is not divide, then we write a does not divide b is written as a vertical line. On that we have the cut b, that is a, the line, and on that we have this one, that is a. We write a does not divide b. For example is 7 and 49, be two integer. We say that 7 divides 49. Okay, because we write 49 as a product of 7 into 7, and in notation conventions we write 7 vertical line 49. So in writing we write the vertical line, but in reading we say about 7 divides 49. Okay, so it does not have 7 divides 49. For example, minus 4 is also divides 64. 64 is divisible by minus 4. 15 is also divisible by 5. But 22 is not divisible by 3, so we write 3 does not divide 22. On the basis of the definition, we have the remark that 1 divide a for all a belongs to z, because 1 divides every integer number, right? And if b is not equal to 0, we know this property that b divides itself and b divides 0. Any number divides 0, right? And any number divides itself, right? That is 2. That is one second. That is 2 divides 2. Okay, 2 divides 2. 3 divides 3. In the same way, the proper and improper integer, proper and improper divisors. We know that proper and improper. We learn about the number which divides is called as a divisor. For example, here 2 divides 4, so 2 is called as the divisor, okay, or 2 is called as the factor of 4. So whether 2 is proper divisor or not, so we have definition here that every number a can be written as the product of a into 1, and written as the product of minus a into minus 1 is again a. So in that case, every integer a has always plus minus 1 plus minus a as a divisor. Okay, and this number plus minus 1 and plus minus a are called as the improper divisor, and any divisor other than this, that is plus minus 1 and plus minus 1, are called as a proper divisor. We have the proper definition of this proper divisor, that is if a divide b, that is a divide b, that is a is factor of b, then in that case we call this a is factor of b or divisor of b. In that case we say that a is proper divisor if it lies between if its modulus lies between 1 less than mod b, that is 1 lesser than mod b lesser than 1 lesser than mod a lesser than mod b, then a is called a proper divisor of b. That is, if the modulus of a lies between 1 and modulus of b, then a is called a proper divisor of b. For example, 2 divides 6, and 1 lesser than 2 lesser than 6, the modulus of 6 is 6, modulus of 2 is 2. So 2 is a proper divisor of 6. Minus 2 divides 6, and 1 lesser than mod of minus 2 lesser than 6. Okay, modulus of minus 2 is 2, and which lies between 1 and 6. So minus 2 is also a proper divisor of 6. Right, so if it is lies if the divisor lies between modulus of 1 and modulus of b, then that number is called as a proper divisor of b. Can you say about what are the divisor of 3, 5, 7 and so on? Since 3 is prime number, 5 is prime number, 7 is prime number, the divisor of 3 are 1 and 3. The divisor of 5 are 1 and 5. The divisor of 7 are 1 and 7. That is, prime number has only 2 divisors, 1 and the number itself. Or we can say that prime number has only improper positive divisor. Right? After that, we see the small theorem on the divisibility, which is a very basic theorem that states that if we have integer a, b and c are integer such that a divide b and b divide c, then a divides c. Recall the definition of a divide b. We say that a divide b. When we say that a divide b, that is, we say that a divide b if there exists c such that b is written as a into c or c into a. Okay, so we use this definition here in proving. So we have given here a divide b and b divide c, and by definition there are integers. Since a divides b, so there exists integer d, and b divides c, there exists integer e. So by definition we write b is equals to a into d and c is equals to b into e. So substituting the value of b from this here, so we have c is equals to a into d in bracket a d into e, that is equals to a in bracket d into e. And since the product is closed under integer, therefore d multiplied by e is again an integer, and therefore c is written as a multiplied by f. So this is the same case where we write c as a into f. Okay, so by this definition we say that a divides c. Okay, hence the proof. And so we will end this here the video, and further we see about the more properties. Thank you.